Hey guys, what's up and welcome to my channel. Apparently this is the Hamburglers channel now, but anyway, today we're going to be talking about Colleen Ballinger once more, unfortunately. So I kind of thought the Colleen Ballinger chapter was over in the sense of she wasn't going to bring attention to herself again for the wrong reasons, and well, I was mistaken. I was scrolling on the Bird app today, and then I saw that Colleen had posted a video where she alluded to prior scandals. It turns out there are two videos where she alluded to prior scandals. Now, you'll see the clips in the videos, but I really think that what she's alluding to is the grooming allegations, but she never really says what. Okay, so there's one video called My Big Audition, I believe it is. I'll insert the clips. But she talks about the fact that she had this big audition on Broadway. And all of this is alleged because I'm not going to get shady. I have plenty of time for that this new year. So she has this alleged audition. She says the audition goes well, and because of some totally not true rumors on the internet, she doesn't get the role.
Wondering if you'll ever feel comfortable talking about the audition you had before your break. Love you, Colleen. I love you too. And this had a lot of likes, and the reason I chose this comment is because other than the relaxed comments, the other top comment that I get is about my audition. The last vlog that I posted before I took that long break last year was me saying, oh, I'm about to go do this big audition. I've been talking about it for like, I think weeks or months, maybe even at that point. And I finally went and I did the audition, and that was where we left off. I actually have a vlog, I think, the next day of after the audition, so let me know if you guys want to see that or parts of it. But do I think I do. Anyway, I'm a little bit sensitive about this, which is why I haven't talked about it, even though you guys have asked about it a lot, but I'll touch on it really briefly because so many people have asked about this. The audition went really well, and I was really excited about it. It was an audition for a Broadway show, and I got it, and we, had dates set, and I was really excited to go do Broadway again. And then it didn't happen, and I was Daisy's playing with my rocks. Daisy, come here. Does anyone else have a cat that just comes when you call them? I feel like my cats have always been like, if you call them over to, they're like, no, I'll come on my own time. But she just oh my God, if you say Daisy, she's just she's so excited to run over to you and be with you. It's the cutest thing. Anyway, yeah, it didn't work out, and I was really sad about that. And I'm not gonna get super into it, but obviously a lot happened last year. A lot was said last year. I lost that opportunity right after a story came out about me that was just completely made up, and it is what it is, and we're moving forward.
The reason why people are pissed off about this to me seems very obvious, in the sense of, okay, so there are allegations of grooming against you, if those are the lies you're referring to, and I can't really imagine what other quote-unquote lies she'd be referring to, because that's the only time anyone's really talked about her in terms of big scandal, big breaking news. She hasn't been in the news for much else, and I really doubt that people on Broadway are digging through the internet to find any little scrap of drama to be like, oh yeah, we're not hiring you. So it has to be something big. Therefore, I can only surmise it is about the grooming allegations, which there was a lot of evidence for, and she apologized for indirectly by saying, she hurt people's feelings. So I'm confused. What isn't true? What did you get fired for that isn't true, but that's big enough of a deal that you, or didn't get hired for, I guess, instead of fired? What's the deal? The other thing is that effectively it's weird to apologize for something and then complain about the consequences of your own actions also related to that apology, right? Because if you're going to apologize for something and actually mean it, you're not going to come back months later and be like, yeah, because of the wrench that this scandal threw in my career, I didn't get this Broadway job. Because what you're apologizing for, or were apologizing for, allegedly, is a crime. People go to jail for these things, and you apologized, making us think there was remorse, but then you come back and say, because of these totally not true things, I didn't get a job. Can you explain how that works to me? Because to me, this says, okay, the apology wasn't genuine, which, duh, we all knew that. It was a way to save face. I don't know if the police was knocking, whatever. Maybe you were going to be wearing a similar outfit to me. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand what's happening. And it's also why would you want to, from a PR perspective, why, in what world would you want to remind the little audience that you have now, and it's still a big audience, but it's shrinking, let us say, why would you want to remind a shrinking audience of, ah yes, in case you forgot, I'm a groomer, allegedly. So what was the goal here? Because it came off as, in my opinion, rather victim-y in the sense of, oh, poor me, I committed grave mistakes that are, in my point of view, criminal, and I got the consequences of that in a tiny minor way by allegedly not getting a job on Broadway. Which also, I have to say, I have my own reservations about. Hard for me to believe that they would offer the job to someone and then kind of rescind the offer, being like, oh, we looked into your background. Isn't that something you do before giving someone the job? Like after an audition, if it went that well, you look at who you've got and you do a little bit. I don't know. Listen, I have no idea how Broadway works. The whole story just doesn't really make sense to me. I don't even know why she told it aside for some pity points, so moving on. Aside from that, people also began to bring up the fact that she made a video about 2023, essentially a recap, and in that video she discusses, you know, all the good things, the fact that now she collects rocks, just stuff, I guess.
2023 was not my favorite year I've ever lived, but I'm grateful for 2023 because I feel like I grew and learned more in the year 2023 than I ever have in any year of my whole life. I learned a lot about being a mom. I learned a lot about the internet. I learned a lot about myself and qualities that I don't like about myself. I learned things about myself that I do love. I learned that it's better that I'm here on this earth than not. Grateful and proud of myself for being here and for doing the fundraiser and for being the best mom that I could possibly be. I learned a lot about trust and friendships and the media. And I'm probably never gonna believe anything I read or hear in media for the rest of my life.
I personally was very bothered by that video for very petty reasons. This is why I'm not a person who watches her videos, but there was this music in the background that made me very sleepy. In fact, I just was watching that and I feel sleepy now. And in the video, she talks about like the good and the bad. In this year recap, she talks about how grateful she is for her children, and she mentions that 2023 had some of her darkest times. Now, again, I can only assume that has to do with the grooming situation. And granted, of course, that's going to put you in a dark place because you're not only dealing with the consequences of your own alleged actions, but you're also dealing with the internet being aware of all of your actions and witnessing you reap the consequences. So that sounds difficult. But again, I have to wonder, what are we gaining by continuously bringing this up? Especially if it is always a kind of pity party type of bring up. Because if she were to bring things up like that, in order to take a level of accountability, like if she brought it up saying, you know, in 2023, I was held accountable for whatever I did. In 2023, I learned some hard lessons. In 2023, you can just phrase it differently and kind of say the same general thought, but phrased differently, it comes off differently, right? So some people might say it's all semantics, it's just her word choice, whatever, but it's really important because it really does determine if you're portraying yourself as a victim when you in fact are the alleged perpetrator, or whether you are learning or taking things relatively in stride in the sense of you're gonna keep going, you'll realize your fuck ups and you'll learn from them, okay? So it would be the difference between me saying, since 2022, I've been hanging on by a thread, versus since 2022, I have learned what my strengths and weaknesses are, and that's helped me. Both of those are true, but one of them sounds better, not because I'm lying, but because it's framed in a different type of way. And granted, when you're talking to your friends or your family, you can say I was hanging on by a thread. But when you are essentially a public enemy, and essentially people have come to the agreement, most people from what I've seen, that they do think you are guilty of grooming, then you coming on here and acting like you are in fact the victim, it's not gonna go well. That's all I really have. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. I genuinely hope that she also stops bringing this up for the sake of the people involved. It's just like, is it really necessary to include all of this over and over again, especially if she actually was referring to the allegations when she mentioned people quote-unquote lying? I don't know. You guys can let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.